Welcome to it looks like a circus. Is this a circus? Nope, that's the Kerbal Space Program. Okay, so now that we have covered pretty much how to get off the launch pad, how to get into space, how to get into an orbit of some sort, and how to get to the moon, land, and come back, all pretty simple things. And now some of you are asking how to make a stable rocket because you'll end up going up, 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 and once you hit 10,000 meters and start trying to make your turn, something breaks or something overheats. So I'm going to go over some tips and pointers here real quick just to alleviate some of those problems. So if we were to build, say, this guy here, we just wanted a small fuel tank under it, like that, with a little tiny engine on that, and that's for orbital maneuvers, say. Not really a purpose in mind for it. And you put the appropriate size separator on there. Now, if you notice, you get like this upside down Christmas tree effect from big to medium to tiny, then back out. And what that does is it causes pretty good instability in your rockets. Because if I were to take, say, something like, no, not that one, this one, put that underneath, and then put a big old Rocco Max with really anything underneath, or I could even go like this and design it as if I were to actually build a rocket with that engine on there. Okay, so you got this, that's for one of the final maneuvers, and then we get that here, and then I want to switch that up to a much larger engine at the bottom to get us out of the atmosphere. So put that guy down, and to stop overheating, this is the great part. This is a huge bonus tip. It's a raging bonus, if you get what I mean. If you have an orange tank, the way you stop overheating on the Rocco Max mainsail is simple. You take this tank, you slap it right there, then you put the mainsail on. And just like that, you will not get overheating. And I think I need to add some weight up here at top just to exaggerate my point a little bit. So I'm just going to throw on as much weird weight and things that I really don't need on there. How much do these weigh? 0.2, and those are even less. 0.5.2, that weighs something. I can't put it on because those are in the way, which is funny because now when I go to put those back on, they're no longer in the way. But there we go. A lot of weight. It's all yucky. And I'll even put one of these on there to help control it all, even though it's just going to make it worse. And this isn't long enough. I need to add... This is pretty much to show you guys the wrong way to build a large rocket. Okay, and then we put a nuclear one there, just to make things really long. Then we go ahead and put another stack separator, like that, and then put that on there. Like, okay, cool. I got all the engines I need. I got small maneuver, medium maneuver, circularization, and then get into space one. But the get into space one, we all know, actually needs some get into space power. So we're going to add just a crap ton of engines on it, and then call it a day. And it's being douchey, there it goes, make sure those are on there. And they're not on there. Lovely. Okay, is that on there? That is on there. Alright, now once again to stop that overheating, you put a smaller tank underneath, boop, and then mainsail, boom. Make sure all the engines fire. Alright, now, just so you guys don't slap me, even though this rocket is not going to do what you all expect it to do. So we got our rocket with our final payload, quote unquote. Looks pretty good, right? All perfectly straight up. It should work under some pretty good physics just to squish everything straight up into the top pod here. So I'm going to hit launch and show you guys why this is probably going to be a fail rocket, like excessive fail rocket, once it's done loading. But we all know how the loading is in this game. We all play it. We all know it's slow. Alright, everything's loaded, and already you can see that thing wobbling. See the yellow thing just jumping around on the nav ball? So I'm going to hit T to try and stabilize as much as I can. I'm going to throttle up. Okay. Now, with all these engines, I really don't want to throttle up all the way. That would probably snap the rocket almost immediately. And it goes. You can see some pretty bad wobble here. And there it goes. It is wobbling out of control. I don't think I'm going to be able to stop that. So, look at that. Those broke off. Everything just snapped off because of the wobble. Now, let's go back and see what we can do about fixing that wobble. This is relatively an easy thing. I don't think this rocket itself would ever be useful for anything. I mean, we have an excessive amount of batteries and everything like that you would never need all this. I mean, all that RCS has no thrusters, so this is for informational only. So, these wonderful struts, they do miracle work. So, what I like to do is I like to put struts overlapping separators. So, set this to how many tanks we have. We have 6. And then I'm going to put this up as high as the first separator, high over it as possible, and then come down and connect to the very outmost of those tanks. Now that will get rid of wobble between this lower half and this upper half. Now, you also want to do this, where I like to use these detailed things on the side of the tanks. I put a strut in there, and then I go on the same thing over here. That will hold all the tanks together pretty much. Now you want those tanks also separated to the center one, which is pretty much the same thing. Just find somewhere in there that it clicks to, then find somewhere there that it clicks to. There. Now the bottom section, the very first stage, is all secured. Very good. No problems there. Then these outer ring ones are helping support this one. But what happens when we ditch those outer ring ones? Well, actually here, just so we ditch the outer ring ones before the center one, I'll do a half asparagus stage, just like that. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but, you know. Alright, so we ditch the outer ones, and all of a sudden these struts go away, which means that center one is now pushing up against all that. But I can't really get the center one to connect to that one because all this stuff is pretty much in the way and we wouldn't get a good angle. So for adding just a little bit of angle on everything, you use these hard points. I'm going to just go like that. I'm not really looking for design of the year or anything right now, so there. We'll go off the top of the tank and you just click on the hard points. There. Once these outside rockets go away, and we're just left with the center one is still supported to this tank. And then we have this separator now here too. So we want to add struts in between the tank above it and the tank below it. So, once again, I'm going to connect to this and see if we can make it to those hard points. And it looks like we can. And that supports that just nicely. Now, when you have this Christmas tree effect, you really want to look into a different option. So what I do is I take 4 of these and I put them on the ASAS unit, the stabilizer unit, because what that will give us is when the SAS unit torques to try and stabilize, instead of it going down to the Christmas tree, it's going down to this rocket right here. But that rocket needs some hard points, so we're going to add those, like that. And then, it's always easier to go from hard points than it is from struts, because the struts like to change the angle of things and not want to connect correctly. And just to double up on things, we're going to find something that can go from this hard point down here somewhere. And I think it'd work pretty good right there. There we go. Now we added all these fancy struts. And just for added measure, I'm going to attach from there. Well, it doesn't want to. Never mind. Alright. So it looks like we should be pretty stable now. I mean, I see nothing really crazy that would prevent us from taking off the way we need to take off. So I'm going to put that like that. Why are there two separators at the same time? Alright, that's that engine. That's that separator. So that separator needs to come up here. So we separate that lower one, fire that engine, and that engine's up there, so that, and then we should have a separator there, then that engine. Okay, perfect. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and see how much more stable this rocket is now. I might even be able to do full throttle all the way up. Hopefully. Maybe. Let's see here. Boop, doop, 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 doop. Bob, Bill, and that's not Jeb. We probably killed Jeb. That sucks. I'm gonna miss Jeb. See, now I got wobble on that rocket for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But, okay. It went away. Sometimes you have to put hard points on the outside of these orange tanks and connect to these fuel tanks because things get a little wonky, but should be okay. Yeah, things are going to be wonky. I probably should have done that, but if you notice, the rest of it is very stable. Nothing's shaking off up here anyways. Down here we forgot to do the hard points outside the orange tanks. But with pretty much using triangles, we stabilize the whole rocket. I mean, there is still some wobble. I mean, this is by far not a good rocket design. But it looks like it's holding well, like it's supposed to and all that. Let's see just how close to an orbit I can get with this design. I mean, I should be able to do pretty good with it. It's nothing crazy. All those tanks are draining the way they're supposed to, leaving the center one filled, but the center one's firing. So this is kinda sorta asparagus staging. Now the tough part is when I do my turn here at 10,000. That's where the stability comes in. Here we go, making my turn. It seems to be doing okay with a small turn. Let me try and get a little bit more turn out of it. Okay. Turning okay. I'll let it stabilize right about here. And I just realized I did this launch in the dark, but you guys should be able to see everything just fine. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I'll get close for you so you can see that it is still wobbling, but it's not nearly as bad as the last launch was. And those outer ones are now out of fuel. I dropped them. Now I'm going to check my orbit map. Oh yeah, I can easily get into orbit from here. Let me increase my turn. Okay. Set it to 90. Every once in a while in my videos I'm just going to show me going into orbit so eventually it gets drilled into your mind exactly how I turn and when to determine when to shut off my engine like I just did there. But we're going to come up and up and up and up and up and up. This is a big orbit too. I think I have more than enough fuel to do whatever I want, really. But now full throttle again. And I don't have to worry about overheating because I separated the orange tank from the engine with one of the smaller tanks, which is always what you want to do. It looks like we are definitely going to get into a nice orbit. I may have to use... No, I'm still pulling fuel out of that one, and I still have that whole one. That is amazing. I, of course, know the speed at which I need to make it stable off the top of my head. It's about 2,150. Except I'm increasing my orbit size there on accident because I got behind the apoapsis too far. Alright. I'm getting behind it again. Come on. Point below the horizon. And there. 2,211. I was off by a little bit, but my orbit's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And here you can look at staging, and I got a Gigundo engine left with fuel left, so I could, in fact, right now, go to the moon. Here we go. Going to the moon with a silly, overly unstable rocket. With way too many parts and pieces. Just look how fast that thing's extending. Alright, that stage is gone. So let me ditch and fire. Yep, and this rocket's plenty strong enough to do it too. No bring us out. Same thing. The moon came over the horizon of the planet, and we burn in prograde until we get to the moon. I'm going to point down a little bit to swing my apoapsis to the right. If you point down below the horizon when you're at periaps, your apoapsis will swing to the right. If you swing above the horizon, it'll swing to the left. So you can kind of aim where it's going to end up being. Look at that. Approach, good, yay, we're all happy. I'm going to end the flight now. Next video, I am going to go into getting to min-miss, then also look into a little bit better on planning on what's on your last stage here. Because taking the bare minimum of exactly what you need to accomplish your set mission is the best thing you want to do ever when landing on other planets and that sort of thing. So, until next time, enjoy getting your funky rocket into orbit now with struts and hardpoints, and I'll see you next time when we head to min-miss.